Hi there, this is OK Tech Video, and I'm going to be doing a video for you to show you how to easily change the external IP addresses on your Cisco ASA. This video is going to be using Cisco ASA 8.2.1, and the instructions will work for any ASA or PICs of 8.2 line or lower. It will not be working for the 8.3 line or higher, as those ASAs use a different NATing structure, and these instructions will not be valid. So let's say, for example, that we've got to change the external IP block on our firewall. We need to move to one IP block to a different IP block because we've changed ISPs or because the ISP has changed our IP numbers on us. So you may think, if you're relatively new to the ASA line, that you may be able to just go in and change things like these name commands that point to the external IP addresses. And these, which would might change everything else in your configuration, like the access lists and the NAT statements. But in reality, that's not true. If you were to change these name parameters here to point to the different IP numbers, then what would happen is that in these access lists, this would show the external IP number, the old external IP number, not the new one. You actually have to reapply all of the ACLs with the correct IP address and the correct name that actually is associated with that new IP address. The name actually is just a variable cover for the IP address. It doesn't actually replace the IP address. Anyway, so what we can do here is the easiest way to do this is with some cut and paste. The first thing you want in your configuration is you want to have host names or names associated with all of your external IP addresses. That way it makes it easy so that you don't have to change the IP addresses within your ACLs and within your static NATs. You can just change these name parameters as part of this procedure. So make sure that you've got all of your external IP addresses that you're using in your commands to be associated with name parameters. So what we're going to do is change it from our existing IP block to the new IP block of 70.10.11.32/27 and a new default gateway and DNS, although we're not really going to apply that at this time. So what we need to do here is, with our trusty notepad, not Visio, sorry. With our trusty notepad, we pull up Notepad and we cut and paste the information out of the config. So we need to copy and paste the static NAT parameters. So we'll do those first. And now I'm not copying the parameters the static NATs that I've got configured here for the port address translation. Because these port address translations reference the interface command, they're pointed to the actual interface, and when we change the IP on the interface, that's going to change that command correctly. So we've done that, and then we need to get the ACL, the access lists, out of the system. So we're going to copy that from here and paste that in Notepad, and then we need to do let's do the static route. So we'll copy that, and there we go. So what we need to do here is, first of all, I need to get my names in there. So I'm going to copy my names in there, and like that. I'm going to copy all of this to my buffer. Hit copy. Now I'm going to change these so that they put no in front of all these commands, and we'll paste back in the buffer, rearrange it some, and change the IPs. So let's do a search and replace. Search and replace. We're going to search for what? Static. And we're going to put in no static and replace all, and then we're going to search for access list, and we're going to say no access list and replace all, and then we're going to say name and then no name and replace all, and then let's manually just do the no route. Okay, so that's going to change all the information. So at this point, we've removed all the configuration after we paste these commands in, so we want to change the IP address of the actual interface. So let's do int VLAN2, which is the outside interface, IP address 70.10.11.34.255.255.255.224, and then what we're going to do is paste back in my buffer. Control V. I pasted it back in. We're going to put the name commands before we do all the other stuff. So I'm going to move those up there, and let's change these IPs to be the new IPs. So that's going to be 70.10. Oh, I think I did this wrong. Oh well, 70. I'll just be consistent. 70.10.11.35. 70.10.11.36. 70.10.11.37, and let's redo the route outside. Let's change the IP on that to be the new IP, new default gateway, 70.10.11.33. Move that from there. Okay, so now all I have to do is to paste this information back into the firewall during the scheduled outage window when I'm going to be changing my IP numbers. So let's just do that right now. So we've got this here. I'm going to do this in stages. I'm going to first do this section, and I'm going to paste it in, and it's going to first remove the static nets, and then it's going to remove the access list commands so that we can then reapply them with the correct information. I'm then going to remove this part, paste, okay. Let's change my IP address, add the new default gateway, add the new names in, the new IP addresses with the old names actually is what I'm doing. So that way I don't have to redo all the access lists, which you can do with search and replace as well, but this is faster. And there we go. So now I have my new firewall with my new external IP addresses, my new outside IP addresses, and my ACLs and my NATs are exactly the way they were before, but the actual names in them now point to the new addresses, not the old addresses. One last step that you probably want to do is a clear xlate command, which will clear all of the NAT translations that are currently present in the ASA and cause it to make sure that it uses all of the new IP information. Another little hint, if you're doing this on a cable modem, always reboot your cable modem if you change your IP addresses. I don't know, that's something that you probably should do. So that's pretty much the long and short of it. It's pretty easy and pretty simple process. It's just pretty easy once you know exactly how to do it. So thank you very much, and I'll see you again. Bye.